Hello, welcome everyone. Today's session is a part of the ML track for Introduction to APIs in Google. My name is Abdulrahman Khalid, and I will be your instructor for today. So let's get started. Let me share my screen. All right, let's go. Okay, awesome. So
في كل محاضرة تشترك فيها. هذا وأكثر من الأحد إلى الخميس ابتداء من الساعة 9 بتوقيت دبي عبر الرابط المبين youtube.com/gdgmila.
sorry for that. All right. Let's start our lab. Let's read the overview to get a feel of how the lab is going to work. So let's start with the overview. Our lab is Introduction to APIs in Google. So if you don't know APIs are short for Application Programming Interfaces, which are software programs that give developers access to compute resources and data. Companies from many different fields offer publicly available APIs so that developer can integrate specialized tools, services, or libraries with their own applications or code base. So for this lab, we will teach you about architecture and basic functionalities of APIs. This will be supplemented with a hands-on practice as we will follow up with the lab. We will configure in this lab and run cloud storage API methods in Google Cloud Shell. After taking this lab, you will understand key principles of API communication, architecture, authentication. You will also gain practical experience with APIs, which you can apply to future labs or projects. All right, awesome. So to sum it short, we are going to be introduced to Google Cloud APIs, how APIs are architectured, HTTP protocols that are being used, endpoints, REST and RESTful APIs, Json, and API authentication services. Right, awesome. So let's start the lab. Okay. Let's open this. Let's sign in. All right, cool. Okay, awesome. So the APIs, the what's and why's. As we mentioned earlier, APIs are software programs that deals with computer resources and data that can be easily integrated with your applications and code bases. So it is much easier to use APIs than to build a single program, method, or dataset from scratch. APIs are built on the principle of abstraction, which is a very, very important aspect. You can look into it on your free time. You don't need to understand the inner workings or complexity of an API to use it on your own environment. Cool. So some APIs does not offer graphical user interfaces. There are some exceptions. Um, uh, as a matter of fact, Google has released a new tool called API Explorer that we are going to see in a moment. That utilizes how can you graphically visualize APIs. And you can know more from these two links provided in the lab. We have sent you the lab URL so you can follow along if you want to. Okay, cool. So cloud APIs. So cloud offers APIs that are being applied to many different fields and sectors. API is often used for web development, machine learning, data science, system administration, workflows, etc., etc. So APIs are generally, if you want something, you will find an API for it. All right, so let's navigate into GCP and see where can we find the API libraries. So if you go from the side menu, you go to Apps and Services, and you go to Library. Here you will find all the APIs that are supported by GCP here, and you can easily use it directly with your own application or code base. All right, so for example, if you want to use Google Fitness API, you search for it to track fitness data and stuff like that. If you are building a health or fitness application to get heart rate monitoring, to get running steps, for example, different activities, and so on, you can use, for example, this API. So you can find a lot of APIs available that you can explore. You can see there are APIs related to YouTube, related to machine learning, as you can see here, Dialogflow, Cloud Vision APIs, natural language processing, speech to text, AI trainings, and so on. So this is the API library. You can also go and explore the dashboard. If you go to Apps and Services, to Dashboard, it will load in a moment. You kind of see here the traffic, the errors, latencies, all the default dashboard analytics and monitoring services for all your APIs. Right? Awesome. So, for example, you can select from the lists here the fitness API. Where is it? I can't seem to find it, so let's search for it here and enable it. Yes. Okay, so it wasn't enabled by default. So when you enable it, it will appear on your dashboard, and there you can access it. So I'm enabling Fitness API. Now it's enabled. You can explore the Fitness API more, and you can see, for example, the quotas. If we go to the quotas, you can see the quotas here, a dashboard for the quotas, and you can see here how many requests per day and your limit, requests per minute per user, request per user, all the different quota stuff. Okay, awesome. So let's test our understanding. Offers quick access. What offers quick access, documentation, and configuration options for 200 plus Google APIs? You can select Google API library. That's where we can find all the libraries, all the APIs, and select whatever we want and enable it. So what has details of your project usage and specifics of your API, including traffic levels, error rates, and even latencies. We saw it in the API dashboard, if you remember. Okay, awesome. So let's talk next about API architecture. So APIs, again, are a set of methods that allows programs to communicate with one another in a specific format for a specific use case. And that requires protocols to be used. So one of the protocols or the models that are being used are called client-server model. So let's see what this is. So you can see there the client server model is the underlying architecture that web-based APIs use for exchanging information. So the client is the computing device. For example, your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, all these different devices are called client, which makes requests for some resources or data. So it accesses the internet, and the internet goes to the server, communicate with the server, gets the data or the resources needed, and forwards back to the internet, and the internet forwards back to the clients. So this is a basic client-server model. The next thing that are highlighted in this lab, which is HTTP protocols. So HTTP protocols, the HTTP protocol specifies the rules and the methods for exchanging data between clients and services over the internet. It is not only used by APIs, it is used for a lot of things, but one of the use cases is to communicate APIs with different clients and servers over the internet. So APIs utilize the HTTP protocol and use the HTTP request methods, which are get, post, put, delete, which is the basic operations that you can use with HTTP. Get is basically if you want to get or fetch data from the servers. Post if you want to create new resources or data, you post it. Delete, it is understandable, you remove data or resources specified, and put, you replace existing data or creates data if it doesn't exist. So it's something closer to update when you use the word update. So let's test our understanding again. What is the compute device that makes request for some compute resources or data? We saw it was the client. An HTTP method commonly used to creating new resources. So it is post. Okay, awesome. So endpoints is another topic that are highlighted in this lab. which is basically endpoints are access points to data or computer sources hosted on a server they take from. Okay, so of course, if you want to communicate between two resources, you have to have endpoints because you recognize that endpoint by contacting it. So, yeah, so these are valid endpoints you can see there. Example.com/store locations/San Francisco. This is called an endpoint. Okay, awesome. Endpoints can be dynamic as well. So think about it if you are on a products list and you select a specific product, which has an ID, so it appears in a specific page. Cool. So RESTful APIs are APIs that utilize HTTP protocols and request methods. We call them RESTful APIs. So APIs that uses the HTTP protocol with the request methods post, put, delete, and get, which is standard for web communication between different resources. Okay, awesome. So REST APIs can also have some fields in the request, which are called headers, which details the HTTP request itself, and the body, which includes the data that the client wants to send to a server. Usually, the body is written in JSON format or an XML. Okay, so API data formats. Let's discuss JSON files. So JSON is a shortcut for JavaScript object notation, which is a file format for data held in the body of an HTTP request method. It's a formatting language that are agreed upon through different services, different libraries, different programming languages. They use it to transfer, communicate data between each computing resources, databases, etc. So JSON supports the following data types. You can see we support numbers, strings, booleans, arrays, and nuls. And it is composed of key value pairs. So every value has a key, and each key has a value. So you can see here some examples. So key 1 has the value of 1. So key 2 has the value of 64, key 3 has the value of true, and key 4 has a value of an array. And you can create a JSON object which uses these curly brackets. So if you see curly brackets, you mean you have a JSON object to group specific number of key pairs, key value pairs together that have some kind of relationship. So we can see here name, hometown, and age for Julia, Los Angeles, and 28. So here he's discussing how to validate JSONs, whether they are true or not. So you can see if I copy this, for example, and validate the JSON, it says it's a valid JSON format. But if I delete something like this and I run it, it will say there is an error because we have a key that doesn't have a value. So it's just a JSON validator that you can use. Okay, awesome. So let's test our understanding again. Access points to data or computer resources hosted on a server, and they take the form of an HTTP URI, which are endpoints. An architecture style that prescribes standards for web-based communication, uh, which is REST, I believe. Yes. So the next question is a file format that is lightweight, easy to read, and fast to parse, which is JSON. Okay, awesome. So let's create a JSON file in the Cloud Console. So if you want to create a new file in general, you can use the nano command. So uh, let's make sure first that the cloud storage JSON API is valid or enabled. So let's search for it here. So let me take this as a copy. And let's see. We want this one, the Google Cloud Storage JSON API, and it's enabled. So everything is good to go. Let's reconnect our shell and take this command. So we are going to create a new file, which is called values. Okay? And when you click uh, enter on the screen, you will be presented with this graphical user interface. So basically, this is the file. You write whatever you want here, and you have a list of commands down at the end of the screen. So you can save, do different operations within the, the shell editor. So let's create some values for a storage bucket. So for the storage bucket, we need a name, a location, and a storage class. So let's take this as a copy, paste it here, and you can see that it is highlighted in a specific way to show you that this is formatted in a specific way, which is a JSON format. So this object, we need to replace the name of the bucket with a unique name. We usually use in the labs we use the project ID as a unique name because it's unique for each lab. So we can save by clicking Control X, and you will see at the end of the screen save modified uh, changes. You click Y on yes, and then click Enter to go back to the shell. Usually, when you're using APIs, you have to you have to be authenticated and authorized to do so, which usually comes with an API keys. So or you can use some specific services that can manage these things for you. But usually you have a key pair, a public and secret key, that you can only know so you can communicate safely and privately with your API. So to authenticate it, we can go to, since cloud storage is a platform that hosts provide access to user data, you need to generate an zero auth token before we use its services. So if we open this in a new tab, you can see here that we are opening the zero auth playground. And it says select Cloud Storage API version 1. So storage API version 1, select it, and select the auth slash dev storage dot fall underscore control. Okay, and authorize API. This will open a Google sign-in page. Select your Quick Labs username and allow prompts for the permission. So let me make sure that this is the correct account. Yes, it is. So for now, we are authenticating zero auth to access our account. Okay, so what will happen next? Step 2 should now have an authorized code generated. So click on Exchange Authorization Code for tokens. If you got moved to Step 3, click on Step 2 panel. Your page should be resembling the following. So this is Step 2. We are on Step 2. And we have an authorization code. Let's exchange it for a token. So as you can see here, we have an access token. Okay, cool. So let's copy the access token. Which is present in step 2, which is this one. You can see that it is the same one as this one. So let's take a copy of it. All right, we will be using it with the following step. So we will create the bucket with the cloud storage JSON REST API. So basically, we created this file, the JSON, the values.json file, and we are gonna run it in a specific way so we can execute the values in it. So we can take the name of the bucket to create the bucket name, and we take the location to specify where it will be deployed, and etc. So okay, cool. So we can go here and just write ls to list the available files that we have in the current directory. And let's see, we have readme dash cloud shell.txt, and we have values that we have created. So let's save the token as well as a variable, so we can use it as a variable instead of doing a long name. Let me just reconnect this. So I think that's better. All right, so let's paste our token that we got. We can take it again from here. And you can notice that each access token has an expire date, right? This is about 3,500 seconds. Okay, cool. So let's paste the token and export it as this variable, 0auth2 token. Okay, so if we need the token, we just write 0 auth 2 token. Okay, and we want to export the project ID as a variable as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So project ID, you can copy it from here. Enter. Now you have exported two variables that we can use. And now we will have a command that, as you might see, that we have a post method that we talked about earlier to create new data. So we are authorizing using the auth2 token, which we saved in this variable, and we are using the project ID here as well. So let's copy this command and paste it. And now you can see that the kind of response we get back is that we are accessing storage buckets and we have a link, we have an ID, name, project number, location, multi-regional, and all the other default variables. So again, it should look like this as we saw. And now let's view our storage bucket. So basically we have created a storage bucket now. Let's go ahead and see it. So you can easily go to cloud storage, which is here. Click on browser. And you can see that your bucket has been created with the same name as the project ID, which we specified already. Awesome, cool. So let's check our progress. Everything is all set. So next, we will upload a file using the cloud storage JSON REST API. So we can use the REST API to upload files to the bucket. And let's save this image as this name. So let me copy this really quick. I'm saving the image. Now it's saved. So we can go to in the cloud cell, click on the three dotted menu and click on upload a file. So let's go there and click on here. Let's reconnect the shell again. And we click here to upload a file. And I will choose the dog image and hit upload. So it will be uploading in the background. And we should have this output. So let's check. Yes, we have uploaded it to /home/student. Okay, cool. So let's set the file path as an environment variable by running the following command. Replacing, okay. So we will take this directory which we should be able to save it as a variable. So let's go down here. Okay. Just put this here and export this directory as we see. Put this is not complete, but we will complete it. So let's take this out and complete it in the following format. So it is this format. So let's take this one. Right, slash demo image dot png. Okay, and let's export that file. Okay, cool. It says that it is not valid, maybe because we left the space. So let's check again. Okay, awesome. So, and let's set the bucket name to the same bucket name that we have created before, which is named after the project ID, and export that as well. And we run the command to take the image and put it inside our storage. Okay, so let's go paste that command and run it, and let's see. So hopefully when we refresh this bucket again, we should have the picture here. Yeah, as you can see that we have now the picture in the bucket. And you can see the details of the image, and you can even view it if you want to, but you have to be authorized to do so. We can make it publicly as well. So you can, for example, if you want to view the image, you can go here on the three dotted and edit access, and you can create a new entity, which is public, all users to be reader, and save. It will show that you have public access to it. Anyone with this link can view the image. It doesn't show for some reason, but it should be there. Maybe my internet is slow. All right, awesome. So that's basically our lab. So what we did is we knew what are APIs, we knew why do we use them. We got a quick introduction to Google APIs and how you can access them from the API libraries and how you can monitor them through the API dashboard and what are the API architectures and HTTP protocols, request methods, endpoints, RESTful APIs, JSON files in JSON formats, how they work, why do we need them, and we created a file in the cloud, a JSON file, and we authenticated using tokens with zero auth, and we basically uploaded a picture into a cloud storage bucket using the storage API. And that's about it. We talked about a lot of different concepts today. They are all have a level of importance for you to know. So please check on them. Have external resources if you need them. You can ask us on the the WhatsApp group, and you can any one of the mentors can help you with that. So after you finish, just click into the lab, give it a star rating, and basically you are done with this lab. So thank you everyone for joining. Have a nice day.